Okay? So in order to do this example, we will going to need a single output, and you can do it on a button if you like, and we will going to leave the button for resetting purpose so that you can learn how you can reset a timer that gets fired by itself. So we're going to leave that button in place. We're going to get rid of this. So we're going to have one text box, one button. The button, we're going to say reset. And for now, I'm leaving on clicks double quotes to empty. We're going to fill this out later on. And I'm going to teach you one new thing in this example, and that is on click or any of the JavaScript events, they do not always have to call a function. If it's a single instruction line, you can actually write that instruction line right there within the double quotes. And that instruction line will be in JavaScript syntax, because events can only understand JavaScript. So you can either put a function call, or you can put a JavaScript instruction right there and then. So we did a function call, and now in this example, we're going to try with a JavaScript instruction. So let me change these around first. So this will going to be a counter. And the name, let's change to a counter. And instead of the form being called calculate, we're going to call it counter form. And in this function update, I have a variable which will going to be a global variable. What's a global variable? The variable that's not declared inside any of the functions. So I have a global variable called counter variable, which is set to 0. Every time update gets called, I want this variable's value to go up by 1. And once it does that, I want this to be reflected in the document .counterForm .counter .value to be equal to the value of counter variable. Now, I need to make the very first call myself. That means after the page loads, I want to be able to call update. So generally speaking, a JavaScript programmer will make a call like this. Call a function. But the kind of function I am creating, that line is incomplete, because I need to attach this function to a timer, because it needs to be auto-called. The first call will be initiated, and after the first call, it will going to call itself after every 1 second. So after every 1 second, you will notice that the counter is changing. So if a function will hold a timer, then the call must be tied to a variable. Why? Because if I kill this variable, I will be able to kill the timer. So that is why JavaScript do not allow you to create an infinite thing. It wants you to have a logic where an infinite timer can be still controlled by a memory. And if that memory goes down, the counter goes down with it. So because programming cannot have infinite loops. That's why it needs to allow you to do infinite stuff in a finite boundaries. So now I make a call to update, and I keep that reference in a variable called ID. Okay. Now, after this, inside the body of the update, I will going to say ID equals to window. Who is window? Window is everything in the browser window. Document refers to only the white area where you can put text. So there are two different objects, window and document. So I want to apply on my window a setTimeOut. Oh my God, I'm sending my window in a timeout. Okay, so the setTimeOut is saying that I will be fired after how much time? This time is in milliseconds. How many milliseconds makes 1 second?
99.
1,000. You're close. So 1,000 millisecond makes a second. And now after every second, I want to call update. So this creates a cycle, but that cycle is being controlled by a variable ID, which is from line number 21. And now inside the reset, what do I want to do? I want to reset my counter. So as I told you earlier, I'm going to teach you how you can reset a variable to a 0. So you can say counter variable equals to 0. You can simply write that instruction there and then. So every time somebody clicks a reset, the counter variable will going to be set to 0. Oh, thank you, counter variable. Thanks. I mistakenly declared counter variable as counter on line number 24, where counter is the name of my text box. So that needs to be fixed. After that, when you are going to run this, it will going to automatically start a counter. After every 1 second, the counter will change. Upon resetting, it will going to reset to the starting point.